Thank you for joining me for what I'm more or less calling my story/spoiler run through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is your warning that from this point forward, this video and all of the videos in this series are full of spoilers and speculation for the complete story in Rebirth, so everything we're given in-game. It will be looking at ideas and elements from Remake, as well as the original Final Fantasy VII, start to finish, so including beyond where we are in the story, the whole story start to finish of OG7. It will be incorporating ideas and plot elements from the books, On the Way to a Smile, The Kids Are All Right, Tale of Two Pasts. It will probably come up once or twice discussing Advent Children, the movie, and I will give you fair warning, it is such a convoluted story. And going back through it, for how many times I've watched other people play, I've watched my play, I've recorded these videos, as many times as I've gone through it, there's always new ideas and thoughts that I have while doing stuff, so you'll see little interruptions occasionally throughout the video, like this! And those are just, during the editing process, something I forgot to mention. I came in and thought of it, and so added it in after fact. So if those are annoying, sorry, but it is what it is. So I want these to generate discussion. I want to hear your thoughts, so please join me in the comments. Tell me things that maybe I missed. If you see something you missed, let me know. If you think I'm wrong about something, please. If you think I'm going off into crazy town, if you think I'm on the right track, great, let's talk about it. Maybe discussion will raise some more ideas. Anyway, without further ado, thank you for joining me. I love this game. Hopefully you do too, so let's get into it. Welcome back to my playthrough of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. This is the final chapter of the game, Chapter 14, obviously. Chapter 13 ends on a giant what the hell moment, and we're not sure. You know, your first playthrough, you have no idea what's going on and where they're going and what happens here. I like the way they did this. It is a weird construct, and we'll get into it as we go, but yeah. Now we're getting into the finale here, and we're going to see where this goes, and at the end of this, I'll wrap it up with my theories and my predictions and what all of this storytelling and insanity has been building towards. So, let's go. The end of the world. Rufus still trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Like I said at the end of the last video, I like that this Rufus seems a bit more in the know about what's going on than in OG7, but he still doesn't know nearly enough.
No. The medical team will see to him. I think you have enough material.
Someone wiped the blood off of Roche's chin. That was nice of him.
How would you explain the phenomena we witnessed at the temple?
It would be premature to draw any scientific conclusions. But one thing is abundantly clear. We
I'm insane.
To dream far bigger.
So what is that out the window? Is that Midgar?
I would have to agree.
I think so. Yeah. But just their helicopter here, so I wonder if Sung's helicopter is going to Junon, because they have the medical facilities there.
To the right, Shinra HQ, where Hojo should be, along with a cure for Cloud. To the left, Reactor 6, which will get blown up along with Biggs unless I stop him.
Hey, Terrier Stamp, how you doing, buddy? So this is still the Zack we know and love from that's in this world. Same world, Zack.
His hair was long and gray.
Again, Zack's choices seem to be the only ones that create these new worlds here.
Of all the people.
How significant that is up for debate. Because obviously Zack is who we're following in this story, so him, you know, if Bob the weapons vendor made a different choice, we wouldn't be expected to see it portrayed.
Does she have feelings for Cloud?
But
Yeah, she likes him.
I guess the question is, do these other worlds with
Saw
these,
that coming.
the different stamps we see,
There.
do they exist at the same time and we're just seeing them when we get up to a point where the choice that's made differs? Are we seeing them then at that point? Or does that other world not exist until Zack reaches this point of choice and makes one choice or the other? Not sure. Now, is that the creation of another world, or the destruction of another world, or just the symbolism of a choice? A little unsure about what that rainbow moment means for there.
Up and at him, soldier.
Now, the things to note is that physically, this is a different Cloud, and this is a different world than the one Zack's been in this whole time.
What is this? Are we?
We could call it a homecoming. Or homeward bound, maybe?
You're the dog, I'm the
Let's
cat.
just call it a dream. My dream, to be precise.
What the hell are you?
Just play along for a bit, okay?
So in the maiden story that I mentioned in a previous video, that Aerith was very definitely had strong feelings for Cloud, and it was expressed that Cloud was the person she really loved, and Zack was sort of, you know, a puppy love. It was the beginnings ideas of love, but this was the real thing, sort of thing. But that she never really got things settled with Cloud as to how he felt. She never really understood or questioned, you know, they didn't come to an understanding of any sort. But that Aerith was very much on the I want Cloud, I'm in love with Cloud sort of bandwagon. She was very clearly Team Clarith. This is not the Aerith that we've been playing with this whole game. And you can see it on the mannerisms, you can see how it is. This Aerith is so much closer to OG7 Aerith. And is arguably a step along the path, or is Ultimate Aerith herself. Or is a version of her that sort of has been existing in this world, or is temporarily inhabiting this world. It's not entirely clear. But we see by the stamps, and we'll get to in a bit, that this is not the world Zack has been in. This is not the Cloud that Zack has been keeping an eye on. This is our Cloud, who only has one pauldron. And who's not in the house? Elmira. Elmira would never leave Aerith alone like this. There's no Marlene. This is not that world that we've been in the whole time. It looks an awful lot like it. The vendors are in the same place. All the people, same people are in this area. But this is not any of the world. This is not just a different version of the world, or it's not the one that where Zack has gone off to do his thing and left this. This is what's hanging around still there. This is a totally different world entirely. So it bears pointing out just to level set on where we are and what we can expect to see here. It is interesting that Cloud now is wearing the Buster Sword there, regardless of what weapon you have equipped. Buster Sword is what he has here. Because in this world, that may be all he has. Because physically, this is not exactly our Cloud, but it is certainly not the same Cloud we've been seeing in these worlds. But it is still a doomed world without time. Let's see what we can find that might be different around here. We have a clock with no hands. That's the same. I imagine this is going to be really, really similar to the world that Zack was in. Well, that door's locked. That's different. Ha ha! That's the difference. But you'll note, I mean, Elmira's not here. Like I said, she and Marlene are gone, and there's no way she would have left them alone.
One thing.
This is important.
You have to promise not to look up.
Hmm?
Because I'm pretty sure you won't like what you see.
You know I'm gonna have to look now, right?
Right. There I go, putting my foot in my mouth. When will I ever learn?
Which, this is not a perspective I'm unique in pointing out here. Her vocal inflection seemed very deliberately that she did that specifically to make sure Cloud looks up and sees the thing. And obviously, I think it's important because it comes back later at the end, and you know, and Cloud tells them don't look up, but nobody else can see it apparently except him. But
Hey, let's check it out. Come on.
what it doesn't tell you is why that's important. Except that I think, like I said in previous videos, I think the world we've been in, the Terrier Stamp world, is
Please.
a doomed world anyway. And her pointing out to Cloud here ensures that when he goes back, he can see it when he's back in that world and sees the open sky. It's sort of the why can he only see it then? Is it literally just because he's had this date now? Or is this just give him a reason to look up and notice it? I've seen the argument that Sephiroth's blessing that he gives Cloud, I believe when they're in the world between worlds, I think that's where he says it, but whatever, when he says, I give you my blessing, I've seen the argument that is what lets Cloud see it. I'm not sold on that, because Aerith is the one that does this and gets him to look up. And so I think one way or the other, his ability to see the crack in the sky in the Terrier world, I think is because of, the Beagle world is the main world that we've been in. The Beagle world. I think the reason he can see it is because of Aerith. Has nothing to do with Sephiroth. I say this Aerith
Which one do you want?
seems a lot more
Whichever
like
one you pick.
OG Aerith.
Why are you
Perhaps.
acting so weird?
Aerith is the beginning of
Oh, you
Remake,
are.
who
This
is
isn't you.
a bit more
If
playful.
you ask me, I'd probably say, this piece.
I don't know. Actually, I'm gonna let him choose.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is free.
And of course,
But
here we see
remember,
the dog.
It's one per person.
This is it. After much cajoling, Cloud is about to give his very first gift to Aerith. Only question is, which one will he choose?
I could just imagine Brianna White recording these, and I gotta wonder what her thoughts are like. Wait, Cloud's what? What am I reading here? Like, trying to record this and not knowing what in the hell is going on? Because I don't think they get, the whole plot. They can piece things together and they might know bits and pieces, but I don't think they get the whole thing. So you gotta wonder how much did she know about what was going on when she had to record this. Alright, so obviously it doesn't matter which one you pick. I'm a traditionalist, and I'm gonna go with a hair clip.
That one.
Ah, I'm so sorry. I meant everything but that one. Tell you what, I've got something else.
Klaus was like,
I think you'll
seriously?
love. Come on, man.
I really want this flower to come back.
That's actually
This pin,
pretty neat.
specifically, I mean.
Perfect, even.
I don't know that it can, though.
You kidding me?
Because
I'll miss these moments.
it sure seems, I mean, we're given the indication, it sure seems like this Aerith dies.
Now, where to next?
Because at the end of this, obviously, she chucks Cloud into
way.
the
Come on.
live stream opening, and Sephiroth comes walking in. You kind of have to assume that he gets the job done. Can I look around at all?
It's your lucky day, you two. Feel free to take whatever.
One of the things
you'd
that I find
like.
annoying about this part is the inability to look
but
around.
only one per person.
Then we better choose wisely.
Do I have photo mode? I don't know that I've ever tried. Yes. Can I? Nope. Can't do a damn thing in photo mode. Okay, again, doesn't matter which one you choose.
I'll take one of those.
Then I'll have
Which almost
one
feels
of
like,
those.
you know,
All right.
an allegory here is like, these are the choices I make. Nope, your choice means absolutely nothing. You're going on the path that we give you. Here's the thing that we give you to give her. Here's this alternate candy. Even though you made your choice, it's not that you can't have your choice. I'm just going to give you a different choice, and that's the one you're going to eat.
Go on, enjoy.
I've seen people saying something about the coloring here. That, you know, she eats the purple one, he eats the green one, and the purple is the anti-life stream, green is the life stream, and Cloud's Sephirothiness and the Genova in him essentially is the reason why he's like, oh, it's making my tongue tingle. That's the life stream, the good color that he's reacting to. I don't know that I buy that.
Needs a little sugar, maybe.
Yeah, and take out whatever's making my tongue tingle.
It sounds to me like I need to start over.
If only you had
If
more
only
time.
we all had more time, am I right?
Alright, so Sector 7 plate is still fallen in this world. I had
Pretty
that
sure I only asked.
I had that thought at one point was, what is the difference that created that world, the date world? And so I was trying to think if there was anything obvious going on that would have been the thing that made this world different. What is the event? Because I don't think it's Zack. I don't think Zack has anything to do with that world that they're in. And so I was trying to think, what would be the different world? Like, well, maybe the plate didn't fall. Maybe that was the world where Aerith succeeded in a remake of stopping the plate from falling. That would create a very big divergence. So that's not the difference. So I'm trying to think, what is it? And I can't think of anything that would be different here that would have created this world specifically. I mean, and Aerith has said this is her world, her dream, that essentially I'm assuming she either arranged to have created by making a choice somewhere along the way that created this little bubble world of hers, or she found one that was suited to what she needed, and that's where so that's the one where she put our consciousnesses. I don't know, because I don't know what created this world, so it's hard to tell. Now, in the background here behind Zack, it's really hard to see, and it's only there for that long. There is still the same terrier stamp that we've seen all along. So theoretically, I mean, and this is the choice that he made, and the tunnel. This is that same world where he made that choice. So that's why the stamp is still the same here as it has been the whole time for Zack. So you look, and it's coming up real soon here.
With Professor
Right
Hojo.
on a box, right there.
Not a whole platoon.
Right there.
Whatever. The world's about to end anyway. Got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Now Zack, of course, returning to his original fate in all of these worlds. Zack dies. Well, we can assume. It is still an assumption, so, you know,
So this is where you
for whatever that's worth.
in a world that has accepted its fate.
Hey,
See, now here again, Aerith can hear Sephiroth. It does not seem like Cloud can. So this would theoretically be ultimate Aerith's awareness, perhaps. Not necessarily physically her. And ultimate Sephiroth. And coming up pretty soon, where there's gonna be a bit where I'm gonna have to pull out the books and read a little bit. So
Let's go see.
Just as you must.
Accepting fate.
Sorry, folks. I've only got one shot left.
We were next.
We've been waiting for ages.
We don't have any photos
We
together.
don't have
I did
any
track
either.
down, and I didn't know that I tracked him down because I didn't see it until I was in editing. I did see this photographer in
Looking couple gets their photo taken.
Zack's world at one point. So he is there. Let's see. Ta-da!
Okay,
Do
you
that.
two. Smile real
Like most
big
things,
for
it
the
doesn't
camera
matter.
now.
Most things in this world, I mean. I wish it did. Like, I wish there was a picture you could get. So now, of course, here's the other world that was created. Either created by Zack's choice or that existed at the same time. Again, we don't really know the mechanism by which these new worlds are created.
What gives?
And there it is. Look at Zack's hand. There's no ribbon there. I didn't notice it until this time going back through editing. I wondered, and so when I got to this point, I made a point of looking at it. I don't think Zack's choice was made in the tunnel. Zack's choice that made the difference is that he picked up Aerith's ribbon and tied it around his hand. Because by the time he got to that tunnel and looks at his hand, there's no way Zack looks down and sees the ribbon and then chooses Biggs. And so that moment when that rainbow white thing washes down the tunnel, I still don't know what that means. But I think the difference in this world, that this one being different from the Terrier stamp, is at least goes back to that moment where Zack holds the ribbon. The next question is this version, this world, the Pug Stamp world, is Aerith even alive in this one? I don't know, because there's no ribbon, and there's nothing to say that Zack didn't take Cloud with him and still come this far, and most of the conversations were the same. Like, so much could have still happened the same that leads him up to this point, but there's no impetus for him to go help Cloud. He doesn't have a solution. He doesn't have an idea in mind. There's no indication from Marlene, maybe, that Cloud needs to wake up to protect Aerith. There's no way Zack makes that choice of Biggs over Aerith. Possibly not even over Cloud. And so, I have to wonder if in this Pug world, Aerith's not here, Cloud's not here, or at the very least, something didn't happen to bring Zack to the conclusion that he needs to help them. He could think Aerith is just in a coma and there's no Marlene. Or, who knows. But the point is, something's different here that lets Zack choose Biggs. So something's different about Aerith and Cloud.
Reactor busted?
Was this world out there all along, and we're just now seeing it, knowing that these two are running parallel right up until that point, and then they split?
Meaning?
That the life stream's bone dry. Bomb one reactor, bomb them all. Planet's done either way.
Now, I'm not sure why the life stream is gone here. Arguably, if this is a dead world, then it's on its way out, and it's not going to last much longer. It could make sense that the life stream is essentially gone. I mean, the life stream encompasses all worlds in this new theory setup that we have to work with here. And so the fact that if the life stream is withdrawn from this world, that could indicate that it really isn't much longer. I was going to say much longer for this world, but that's a ridiculous statement to say. But yeah, this world isn't going to be around much longer. And I think it's just because it's but the differences that have created this world are too great. It's not going to last very long. And I mean, we've said Sephiroth says soon that, you know, some worlds last longer than others, etc. And if this world was created by Zack's choice, then it really doesn't last very long. The one question I have, that if this was created by Zack's choice, at what point does Zack look around and go, wait a second, wasn't that dog different 5 minutes ago? Which leads me to think that they're parallel worlds, that we just don't see the difference until they branch off from each other. But they do exist concurrently. Question is then, how many other worlds are there that we just don't see?
And so are we.
Nice one, Biggs.
That it?
Bomb barely made it through testing. Figures it'd fail for real. What am I still doing here? Why did I have to survive? Look at me. I'm useless. Can't even make a damn bomb.
You're not useless.
For a moment there, I thought my life might have some meaning, but it doesn't mean shit.
Well,
So in other words, you chose what thing you wanted, and then fate said, no, I meant anything but that.
So come on.
Here's the thing you're allowed to have.
Thanks, but why are you here?
Yeah, about that.
Never mind. I know. Kinda obvious now I think about it. World may be ending and all, but a bombing's still a bombing.
That's part of it too. But mostly, I was worried about you.
That bleeding heart. It'll get you killed.
I don't know. I wanted to take action. Take charge.
I'm curious now, as I just made that comparison, I'm wondering if there's more to that than I thought. Because we see 3 Zack worlds. Endings for Zack here. And there are 3 date choices. And in the first one, Cloud makes a choice, and the guy says, oh, no, anything but that when you can't have, here's the thing that I will give you instead. It's like, anything, it's like, why would you not give him the thing that he chose if that's literally all, you're a salesperson. Why would he not be allowed to have that thing? And so instead, it's just, no, here's the thing you're allowed to have. Zack world number 1, okay, I make my choice. I'm going to go do this thing to have Cloud. Nope. Here's what you get. Zack dies. Or is shot at, presumably dies. Choice number 2. I choose this. Okay, that's a good choice. But I have this other thing. And he's like, okay, fine, and he takes it. And so his choice was still meaningless. And here, Zack makes his choice, gets here, and Biggs dies. But Zack still tries to make something more with his choice of the options presented to him, and jumps off, presumably again to his death, but in his own way now. So he still had a choice in that follow-up moment, and chose the way he went. Third choice of the dates. You choose whatever pose you want, doesn't matter. You're not picked for the photo because it looks like a funeral, whatnot. Third Zack world here. Zack isn't who Sephiroth is there for, and sends him off into the live stream, presumably. I don't know, that maybe a bit of a stretch, but I don't know that it's wrong. It's a theory, at least. I've said before, and during the Loveless sections, I don't do poetry. I'm bad at symbolism and stuff like that. So this is me attempting to identify symbolism. That's about as good as it gets for me. So that could be 100% pure drivel, and it wouldn't hurt my feelings if somebody said that. But I don't know. It's a little. It's tempting that might be actually indicate something. Because otherwise, what are those date choices even there for? What does it mean? Why you go through that?
Take control. To know that I had a choice. That this path, this world was one I chose.
Okay.
I wanted to take back my life. Biggs? Buddy?
That one I didn't see coming. I don't think I saw anybody who saw that coming.
Biggs, get up!
And now we're back to, nope, we're going to put you back on your original fate.
The road, huh? Fate's got one twisted sense
But no,
of humor.
I'm going to do it my way.
And I'm always the punchline. But I'm sick of taking its shit! This is my life. I make the rules. See you never!
Later. Bye. Come on, let's go. Hey, why'd you pass on us?
Well, for starters, you don't look like you're on a date. More like at a funeral.
Well, I don't think that's true at all.
Just have fun while you can, huh? See ya.
Now then, where shall we go to next?
Before that, talk to me. What's going on with this place? With you? And please don't play dumb.
Yeah, see, Cloud doesn't even acknowledge that feather, so...
Alright. I'll tell you when we get to our spot, okay?
Where's that?
You really have to ask? It's one of my most favorite places.
I guessed wrong
Can I make it
on my
any
first
more
playthrough.
obvious?
Okay. Yeah, let's see. Okay, so this would be the one that looks like the Sector 6 plate. Above us, but we're in... Aerith's house is in Sector 5. Okay, long story short, I spent several minutes obsessing over plate positioning, and as near as I can tell, it's just a mistake, and a rare one on the part of the devs, because I don't see any indication that, you know, this world is different because the Sector 5 expressway fell and the Sector 6 plate was the one that dropped for some bizarre reason, even though Avalanche would have still been in Sector 7. There could still be some really weird thing there going on in the background, but there's zero indication of that. And I've looked around, and best I can find explanations online is just they made a mistake, and it's a pretty darn big thing to try and fix to move plates around, so I don't know that it would ever get fixed. So yeah, as far as I can tell, there's nothing to this. It just seems to be a mistake because Aerith's house, this sector, is definitely Sector 5, and there's definitely the gap in the plate above us that was the collapsed expressway in Sector 6 plate. And then that gap there, it would clearly be the Sector 7 plate. So yeah, it just seems to be a mistake. If you see anything official indicating otherwise, please let me know. But as far as I can tell, this is just a really big, really weird, really rare mistake. Oh well.
Cloud.
All right. New world.
Biggs.
New stamp.
Oh, Aerith. How the hell am I supposed to choose?
Sephiroth and the magically appearing sword. Like he's just ignoring Zack.
You want a piece of me?
No, not you.
Has nothing to do with you. Dark whispers. Zack sucked in. Now the question is, why is Sephiroth going in there?
All you, wasn't it, Sephiroth?
Because this is not the world Aerith and Cloud were in. So why go into that church? Because presumably in this world, that Aerith is back at home.
I'll find a way. You'll see.
Alright, the white and the rainbows, I think, has thrown a lot of people off, myself included, as far as what it signifies. And I don't think it's possibly because it doesn't always indicate the exact same thing. I've seen it theorized that it is present at the branching of worlds when a new world is created, that it is just signifying some sort of crossing or crossover between worlds. I don't know that there's one single thing that it is signifying, so I don't know that it's really worth diving too much, except that it signifies something crossing and some sort of transition between the worlds, either of power, a new fate choice, a person. Like, there's just too many possibilities of what it stands for. It's a little off. Now, the one thing, not that one, that I definitely... The one thing that I definitely wanted to address here is in On the Way to a Smile, we see what Sephiroth is doing in all of this. Let me find the one I'm looking for. So it's actually at the very last page of the book. And there are a couple of... So in between the main chapters in the book, there are little 1 and 2 page bits that are Livestream White and Livestream Black, and they are from the perspective of Sephiroth after the point where he's been killed at the end of 7, and Aerith at the same point, post 7. And so the very ending of the book is, I think, telling for this moment here between Aerith and Cloud, but also for Sephiroth and what's going on here. It says, she tried to think of some way to warn Cloud. As she pondered the problem, all of the other things she couldn't tell him arose anew in her spirit, vivid as life. There was always so much that she wanted to tell him, but she'd never known what to say or how. She hadn't troubled herself over this for a long time, and eventually she decided there was no point in thinking about it now either, unless she found a way to talk to him. She realized the one responsible for sowing all that hatred was trying to manifest himself in the living world. How was he going to do that? She mustered her courage and she went to see for herself. He sensed her and gave chase, but then soon stopped. She could feel his mocking laughter behind her as she fled. There is nothing you can do. Still, she had seen what she needed to see, a glimpse of his intentions. He would begin by using others to act where he could not. Should she do the same? No, she thought, even if that's possible, I don't want to appear before Cloud as someone else. I want him to see me as he knows me. And so I think in that moment, that is explaining what's going on here. Is Aerith has this moment set aside to meet with Cloud as herself, and this is a manifestation or an embodiment of ultimate Aerith. I don't think it is clearly not all of her, but this Aerith was put here by ultimate Aerith, one way or the other. And it's a way for her to interact with Cloud one last time in person. And at the same time, and I thought there was a little bit more to it, so I may have overlooked another quote somewhere in one of those white or black chapters, that Sephiroth was pursuing her in the live stream. But this idea that she goes to look at him, he chases her off. I mean, that's clearly seems to be what's happening here, is that ultimate Sephiroth is going from world to world, chasing Aerith down, and through either a local manifestation or through, himself, if possible, is rooting out Aerith from all the different worlds and killing her over and over again. Stopping her from influencing these worlds, stopping her from arguably allowing these worlds to finish off in peace and dignity. Because her world, at least, the one that has set up her little dream world, everyone's like, oh, well, I'll miss these moments. This has been fun. Thanks for the time here. Good job, guys. It's very calm and accepting, and as Sephiroth says, a world that's accepted its fate. Zack's world, everybody's still worried about what's going on. Nobody knows what that thing. Shinra's thinking about attacking the crack in the sky. Everything is still in chaos. And at that point, Sephiroth has not come for Aerith yet. Arguably because she's asleep still. Does that mean he can't find her? She has to be awake for him to locate her? Possibly. That is one very strong possibility. If she was awake, would that mean the world would start to draw itself down to a close anyway, naturally and more peacefully? And if he kills her prematurely, does that mean that world is going to stay in chaos and is more likely to feed the panic and the dark emotions that are going on to feed into the reunion, to make the live stream and the reunion process a little bit darker? Possibly. Because, I mean, we overheard in Zack's world at various points, people are like, well, now that we've got this, I'm going to go steal all this money, and then I'm going to buy all these things, and then, drink beer and live out the rest of my life here in, doing nothing, doing crap. It's not a calm acceptance of the world. It's, I'm going to go get me and get mine. Nobody's looking out for anybody at that point. So I don't know. Because that world does not have an active, awake Aerith in it. I do wonder what happened to that Aerith, though. I'm afraid that Sephiroth tracks her down and kills her anyway. I looked around at various images I could get of the church, and I have not seen any difference in the church in different worlds. So if you've wondered about that, as far as I can tell, that's not a thing.
Bingo.
That was easy.
Cloud,
obvious.
For some of us, it wasn't easy. Some of us guessed wrong,
Well,
okay?
You'll have to give me a harder one next time.
Oh? Next time?
Yeah, next time.
Apparently there's some different responses there
At
based
least
on
I
your
know now
relationship status with Aerith.
Where you and I stand, I mean. Thing is, Cloud, I really like you. But then, like can mean a lot of different things, can't it? Because there's liking, and then there's liking.
Seriously, what's going on?
So this is the Aerith who was never able to tell him how she felt. And she maybe now has this choice, and this may have been her chance to see how Cloud felt. Because in The Maiden Walking the Planet, she never got a chance to say how she felt to Cloud. She never got a chance to see how he felt about her, and to see if it was reciprocated. But that Aerith knew she was in love with Cloud. And this Aerith certainly seems to be trying to express feelings along those lines, and just can't quite get that far before Sephiroth shows up to interrupt things. And she, makes Cloud take the Nestea plunge. And so it's sort of if this is Ultimate Aerith and this is her last chance to interact with Cloud, I think she sees here that, there is something between them, but I don't think it's everything that she might have wanted. And maybe it's just because Cloud's being Cloud. Maybe it's because we also don't know for sure if this Cloud is the exact same consciousness that we've been seeing in our world, in the Beagle world. Because there's nothing that says this is absolutely the same person. Same experiences and thoughts and mentality, etc. Because there's no reason why it would have to be the same. If this was a different Cloud in this other world, either that Cloud's consciousness was moved aside and our Cloud moved in, or that Cloud was in a Mako poisoning-induced coma, hence the wheelchair, and then our Cloud just sort of moved in and filled the void. That's a good possibility, but we don't know. Or is it Cloud is Cloud? I've seen the argument that we're getting Ultimate Cloud here, the same Cloud who will have, by the end of this, the ability to see into some of these other worlds and all that other stuff. I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't really understand why what that Ultimate Cloud is all about. So I can't say how much I agree or disagree with it. I'm inclined to believe that this is our Cloud whose consciousness has been shoved into a comatose Cloud's body. But it's a comatose Cloud who physically is the one that came back from Midgar already. Or to Midgar from Nibelheim, because this Cloud has the one pauldron. It's not the one that Zack has been taking care of the whole time that has both. And, doesn't have like the spikes, the screws coming out of his shoulder. And so this Cloud got that far so Zack probably still died in this world. Cloud made it back and maybe slipped back into the comatose state, because he got the Buster Sword, so he got that from Zack already. I'm curious. But, I mean, physically, this is not the same Cloud, I don't think. But mentally, I think it is.
So, I've brought up once or twice during this playthrough, when it came up, where is this world's Cloud? We saw at the very beginning when Zack showed up in Midgar, it certainly seemed to be leaping off from the same point where Remake ended. So we saw the burning remains of the Motorball boss, for instance, that we fought on the expressway. And everybody else was there except Cloud. And I've wondered a couple times there, where is that world's Cloud? I wonder if Aerith set up this little dream world and borrowed that world's Cloud, and he was injured just like everybody else seemed to be, because they're all dead or unconscious in that first scene when Zack is coming up to Midgar. And Red's the only one that recovers for a few seconds to fight back, and then so, but we don't know where Cloud is. We've seen Aerith's ability to pluck people from the world they're in and put them in these side worlds, if you will, these doomed worlds, because Zack clearly comes from a different world than Biggs does, because Zack is carrying around Comatose Cloud, and Biggs already met Soldier version Cloud. So there is clearly different worlds' ability to cross in these doomed worlds when Aerith grabs people and puts them in there. And Ultimate Aerith, specifically. So I wonder if that's what happened to this world's Cloud, the world that Zack appeared in. If she grabbed that one and put it into this doomed world, and who knows where its original Cloud went off to, or whatever happened to him, because this is the world of, this is the date world, and it has its own stamp and everything, and so it's not the same world that Zack's been in, any of the worlds that Zack's been in. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know that there's any indication one way or the other. There's no reason it has to be, but unless they say otherwise, headcanon, I'm going with that's what happened to that world's Cloud, that Aerith plucked him up, plopped him into this date world that she arranged to create, and that's why he's been in bad shape and in a coma of some sort up until right now when she needs to talk to him to get this ball rolling in the white materia.
I mean, right now he doesn't have the Buster Sword at all, but in the menu he does. I mean, at the very least, if absolutely nothing else,
Don't blame yourself.
the two of them are really, really close to each other. And this Aerith, I think, like most Aeriths, or all Aeriths, knows what her fate will be. And if it's not at the capital, she knows that
Cloud.
Essentially, you know, this is her fixed point in time. This is her canon event, is being
Sorry.
killed by
I'll
Sephiroth.
be okay.
I don't know if I said it in my main play or not, but Aerith with the bow is she's cute, she's attractive, she's all sorts of words if you physically if you want to describe it.
This
Aerith
isn't
without the
about
bow,
me,
I
though.
think is just beautiful
It's about saving the world.
with her hair
And
down.
you.
Now, that moment there, it's about saving the world and
So
you.
Thank you, Cloud, for everything.
This is Aerith acknowledging that Cloud is the linchpin from her side of things.
It's been fun.
Aerith!
And before we get to this part, I've said for the last several video series, especially as we get closer and closer to the end, it's come up more often, that Cloud is the linchpin. And that right there is Aerith acknowledging it's from her side of things, like I just said. But Cloud is also the linchpin on Sephiroth's side. And we get to one of the black chapters, the black number 3 in On the Way to a Smile. And so this one is from Sephiroth's perspective. Despite the panic and ongoing turmoil, life on the planet was returning to a normalcy of sorts. He saw something in the new spirits joining the life stream, the shadowy places of the heart that seemed to define them. It was pleasant to him, the persistent drifting darkness, especially when he realized that it was his actions above ground that had engendered it. Perhaps he would be able to do something amusing with it, like, for instance, turn the entire life stream black. Concealed within the planet's own life force, he floated throughout the world, leaving his mark on people everywhere he found them. So this is the geostigma, by the way. This is him finding a way to enact it and bring it about. So this is that during that time between 7 and Advent Children. More and more of them with every passing day. The others found the rhythm of their lives shattered, despair taking hold in their hearts. He delighted in this, and he invited the darkness to grow and spread, like I've been saying all along. In time, another thought came to occupy him. I want Cloud to know this was my doing. I want them all to know. He would need a body. There were things he had to say with his own human voice, things he had to tear apart with his own hands. I could use Mother's power. If I just had a piece of her, I could forge another body for myself, which is what we see in Advent Children. He tried to send his spirit above to walk the surface, but nothing came of it. The planet had consumed the memories of his own form, leaving him with no image on which to anchor his consciousness. Then he found another memory in the life stream that would serve, and he bound part of himself to that image. It took the form of a young man, and he felt once again how the world of the living was unbearably confined and circumscribed, nothing compared to the freedom he enjoyed as pure consciousness. Still, he had his mission. He created 2 more bodies, and then there were 3. So that's Kadaj, Laws, and what's-his-face, the other one. The 3 who walked upon the planet's surface were not him, and yet they were. Created by the force of his will alone, deviations from the order imposed by the planet, they were at once real beings and fantastical monstrosities. He thought about the future. As they search for Mother, my servants will meet those who knew me, and their spirits will remind me what I once was. Once I have Mother's power, I will exist fully in the living world. It will not be long now. Even if I am incomplete, it will matter not. Cloud will be there. Cloud will complete me. And so from Sephiroth's perspective, it's still all about Cloud. And yes, Cloud is the one that killed him, which sort of cements that moment and connection between them. Cloud is the one that did it, so of course Sephiroth wants to now get back at Cloud, get back to Cloud, and ruin his life. And so they have both made everything that happens in that life stream bit and all the stuff that's going on in between worlds and everything that's happened, it always comes back to Cloud. Which leads me to believe that the ultimate Sephiroth, who is essentially who's talking there, it's him in the life stream, and ultimate Aerith, who is the other one that's in the white chapters here, they have both, obviously not consciously of the other person necessarily, everything for both of them hinges on this Cloud, in this world, in this game. And that's why Sephiroth is doing everything in his power to corrupt Cloud's mind. And Aerith is doing everything in her power to try and drag him back and find the real Cloud so that that Cloud will take ascendancy and his mind, his memories, his self will be filled with the good things that are Cloud. Whereas Sephiroth is trying to corrupt that and fill it only with the negative things that are part of Cloud. And so I think that's what we're going to see in part 3 is what is the status of the clear materia that Cloud ends the game holding? And is it going to get darker by turn or lighter by turn, depending on what choices are made? I think it would be, ballsy as hell if essentially your relationship with the clear materia was tracked the way that your relationships with people are tracked here, and Cloud's choices in how you played the game could actually change the materia towards white or towards black. I don't think it's going to happen, but damn, how would that look if you played the game and you actually could get to an outcome where Sephiroth wins? And it's because of the way you played the game. You may still fight, and you may get back to, say, the original ending of OG7. And so you fight Sephiroth, and you still have to deal with the meteor, etc. Or, if you play your cards right, you may strengthen Holy so that by the time you get to the end of the story, it's more than powerful enough to fight everything off, and you get a better outcome to the game. Different endings? Stranger things have happened. So, alright, now we get to all the fun lore about Worlds and Worlds, and yeah, this is where things started to get explained finally, of course, and also still left people going, huh? So, now there's a Dark Whisper interrupting things, but this has so far been White Whispers, which are either under the control of the planet, or my contention is Ultimate Aerith guiding them.
Behold, the true nature of reality.
Thank you, Sephiroth.
When the boundaries of fate are breached, new worlds are born. The planet encompasses a multitude of worlds, ever unfolding. Some quickly perish, while others endure.
Which, I sort of said something to this effect in my original playthrough. This actually lines up very closely with the way that I've thought if the multiverse is real, in reality, like our world, the way it would work is, that for every choice that's made, yes, different worlds are created, but some of them are just, it's not a big enough difference. And so that world either sort of ends up sort of recombining or dissipates, and the energy of that world is sort of driving the whole machine of the universe. And then bigger differences obviously might create the full-on parallel world in existence somewhere. I'm not a theoretical physicist or whatever branch of science might support that. This is all just, shower thoughts. Let's see, here we're seeing the different choices.
The most resilient worlds are doomed to fade.
And eventually all the other worlds, including ours, the most resilient, doomed to fade.
For it is not death, but a homecoming.
Except I think the whole goal of the game is to make our world the new reality, the new fate.
Is as one. All born are bound to her. Should this world be unmade, so too shall her children.
He'd tell you that he only cares about the planet. That he'd do everything in his power to protect and preserve it. But
now when he says all born are bound to her, I think there might still be room for that not to be the planet he's talking about. We know that all born bound to her, that's why those not born of her can't return to the planet, like the Gi and Genova. There has been an argument, though, that with Genova's cells dispersed, that he's trying to argue that everything that is born now is in some way linked to Genova. I've seen it suggested. I don't buy it. I still think he's talking about the planet. But the question is, if he's still focused on if one's destroyed, everything's destroyed. So if he is trying to become a god by all the power flowing to him, if that destroys all of the life stream or uses it all up, like, what is he trying to become a god of? Like, he's talking about merging the worlds into this one grand eternity of what? It's kind of unclear. And admittedly, Sephiroth might not have been thinking in his 100% right mind at this, and could be under Genova's influence for all of this, but it begs a lot of questions about what's going on.
this isn't the way it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. See, Sephiroth at this point is wondering if Cloud is far enough under his influence.
To her ecstatic cries, her rapture.
Which Aerith said he can't hear the screams of the planet. At the end of Remake, she said that. And so this is, Cloud still hearing the screams, but Sephiroth's like, no, it's rapturous, it's gay, it's a good thing. And when Cloud can't hear it, what does he say?
It's screaming!
Oh, Cloud. I thought you might finally understand.
Maybe you've been dragged down far enough that you're on my wavelength.
Your strength. Let us defy destiny together. 7 seconds till the end. Time enough for you, perhaps. But what will you do with it? Let's see. Let go of the past, Cloud. For the future is bright. We are to bear witness to the reunion of worlds.
Reunion.
Now we see into another world. We're seeing all these events. But here we have another world where what is being shown to Cloud is that he turned into a black robe.
Leave me out of it.
How very stubborn of you. Perhaps you need a little push.
And what is that push?
I give you my blessing.
Now, the nature of that blessing is obviously still very ambiguous. And what is the push is still a bit ambiguous. The push, I would argue, at this point, unless I change my mind in an hour or so, the push is what's it going to take to break Cloud? Because so far he hasn't fallen yet. And I think Sephiroth is like, well, okay, maybe? No? Okay, not there yet? Okay, what's it going to take? It's going to take either killing Aerith, or more specifically, failing to save Aerith. And I'm not entirely sure about what happens in that moment still. And I'll talk more about it when we get there, but when Cloud manages to block Sephiroth seems awfully calm, almost happy about it. Like he's still got that little half smile on his face of that supreme confidence of his.
Where am I?
That doesn't belong here.
In this world, it should be empty and clear.
Very poor form.
See, that one on the left, that sure looks like a white whisper, but again, I think it's just the friggin' shadows and lighting in this game. And now the actual white whispers show up. Thanks, guys. So this is... Now notice, Cloud's back to... Oh, we can't see the menu, but Cloud now is back to holding the sword he's had this whole time.
Sephiroth's here. I can feel him, watching us.
So this place doesn't, at this point, seem to be a real place yet.
Forget about him for now. Just focus on yourself, okay?
Because Aerith, teleporting from tree to tree.
But I'm fine.
You're not fine, Cloud. Now
Focus
she's
on
trying to
you,
reach the
Cloud.
real you.
The one I've been trying to find. The real you. Leave Sephiroth to me. I can handle him. He's planning to use the black materia, but I won't let that happen. He has to be stopped by Cetra. And I'm the last.
There's that trend. There was a little whitish rainbow glow back there.
I appreciate it. But now, it belongs with you.
But again, I don't know exactly what that white rainbow glow means all the time. Let's see, now leaving this with him.
It looks empty.
It is empty. You need to fill it, Cloud.
Aerith?
Preferably with all the good things about you.
Aerith!
Now, so the white whispers are blocking Cloud and slowing him down so he can't catch her. This is... It's sort of unclear about the nature of this place. Because physically, our Cloud is on Barrett's back, getting a piggyback ride through this version of this forest, or a forest at least.
Aerith.
And yet this Cloud returned through the worlds to return the memories of the white materia and the power of it to our Aerith. So while this is a great moment here, it's still, and it was pretty much like this in OG7. There was not really an explanation for the moment when Cloud and Aerith were talking in the trees. Was this them at the bottom of the cavern? Or still on the... It looks like they might still be on that black tentacle. Okay, everybody, now, when Cloud wakes up, here's what needs to happen. Is Cloud's consciousness possibly traveling through the live stream trying to find where his body is? Her final instructions and conversations with them before she has to take off.